Yes, you read it right. It's our 101st Sunday gathering. A warm welcome to you. I'm Sandra Champlain. I'm joined by my handsome friends, Darren Wynn and Philip Dykes, and his beautiful wife is having some family time. So she is here at the Sunday gathering, but just not on camera. So a shout out to Carrie and a family. We're so grateful you are here. Darren has created our gathering today with some special music, and we hope to put some peace and happiness in your heart and a big smile on your face. So I'm going to turn it over to Darren. He can explain more and open us in prayer. Over to you, Darren.
Thank you for that, Sandra, and a massive welcome to all of you. Yes, 101 gatherings. Who would have thought all that time ago we'll be here? I kind of struggled with this week's theme. I kind of batted it around in my head for the week and tried to come up with a theme. And we've left it as 101. And that could be 101 ways, 101 reasons to happiness, peace, fun, love, whatever we decide individually. So I've left it kind of open for this week. But I find it an absolute joy and privilege to be hosting this week on behalf of everyone here. So you have myself, who will be doing the opening prayer, the reading, and taking us into the healing. You have Sandra, who's the hostess for the Moses, who's behind the scenes operating everything nice and smoothly. But alongside that, Sandra will also be participating in the address. She'll also be doing our announcements for the week and our closing words for the week. And then you've got the wonderful as ever, Philip Dykes, who will be doing the mediumship for the week, who will be doing the closing prayer for this week, but also participating in the address this week, as well as myself. And we've left it open, so we'll see what each one comes up with for the address. So without further ado, if you'd like to join me for the opening prayer, and close your eyes as we open this in prayer. We come together here as one. We come together here united for our Sunday gathering. We come together as unique individuals all across the world. As we come together as one, we do so in pure love and harmony. We come together from different countries. We come together from different backgrounds. We come together from different understandings, and we come together from different teachings. But today we come together in unity. We come together as whole, as one, in nothing but pure love within our hearts and our minds. And as we enter into his gathering, we put aside our daily lives, and we enter into his gathering with one purpose within our hearts and our minds, and that is to unite our world with that of the world we call unseen. And we enter into this experience with no demands and no expectations, but just allow our workers to be free so that we can hear and feel those words and those thoughts from that world we call unseen, so that we can embrace this moment to be as one and embrace that moment of being at one with the spirit world. As always, we ask our dear friends, helpers and loved ones in that world we call unseen to be here with us once again today, so that we can feel your healing balm. We can hear your thoughts of wisdom and hear your words of truth, which will be shared by our workers here today. And as always, we deem it an absolute joy and privilege to work on behalf of your world, to represent your world, and to walk side by side with your world. And we hope that we can represent your world within the right way, with nothing but the utmost integrity and honesty here today, and the utmost respect. And we hope we can do this within our own capabilities. As we open up this gathering, we do so with nothing but love and positivity within our hearts and our minds. And we ask that a light be shone across the world for those dear souls who are laying their heads down tonight with nothing but fear and dread within their hearts and their minds. And we hope that in some way we can alleviate this to bring a little bit of comfort and peace to them. And we ask that this light can also be shared with some of the leaders across our world who are the cause of some of this pain and anger across the world that we see today. And we ask that peace may bring them a little bit of healing and comfort, so that they may change the direction in which they're heading, to bring peace and kindness to all of humanity. And if we can just play one little part to help in this manner, then please take whatever you need. But as always, friends, we open this with pure love within our hearts. So welcome, friends. Okay, I'm going to start off with the reading stuff. I've got two little small readings to read you. One's about happiness and one is about peace. There was a boy whose family was very wealthy. One day his father took him on a trip to the country where he aimed to show his son how poor people live. So they arrived to a farm of a very poor family. As he considered, they spent their several days there. On their return, the father asked his son, did he like the trip? Oh, it was great, Dad, the boy replied. Did you notice how poor people live? Yes, I did, said the boy. The father asked his son to tell him more details about his impressions from the trip. Well, we have only one dog, and they have four of them. In our garden, there is a pool, while they have a river that has no end. We've got expansive lanterns. They have stars above their heads at night. We have the patio, and they have the whole horizon. We have only one small piece of land, while they have the endless fields. We buy food, but they grow it. We have high fences for protection of our property, and they don't need it, as their friends protect them. The father was stunned. He could not say a word. And then the boy added, thank you, Dad, for letting me see how poor we are. This shows that the true wealth as well as happiness is not measured by material things. Love, friendship, and freedom are far more valuable. Happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own actions. On once there lived a farmer who owned a land along the coast of the Atlantic Ocean. Even after letting out several advertisements for recruitment to take care of his farm, no one seemed to sign up for it. People were reluctant to work along the Atlantic. It had frequent, raging storms. These storms were cruel, violent, and destroyed every building and crop field they touched. After months of advertising and request refusals, a man approached the farmer for the job to take care of the farm. Do you have any skills or experience to work on a farm like this? The farmer asked him. Well, I may not have enough experience, but I can sleep when the wind blows, replied the man. Although the farmer wasn't much convinced by the man's answer, the farmer was too desperate to have someone to help him on the field that he hired him anyway. The man worked well around the farm. The farmer was pretty satisfied with the man. Then one stormy night, the wind howled, waking the farmer. The farmer immediately got off his bed, grabbed the lantern and headed towards the quarters where his helper was sleeping. Wake up, the farmer yelled, throwing the soundly asleep man off the bed. A storm is coming. Tie things down before they get blown away. The man sat up and said, no, sir, I told you, I can sleep when the wind blows. The farmer turned red with fury. After listening to this, he controlled all his will to fire the man, because at that moment it was more important to secure his fields and his barn than to argue with his helper. The farmer ran out to tie the things up and was surprised by what he saw. All of the haystacks were covered with tarpaulins. The chickens were in the coops. The cows were in the barn. The doors were closed and barred, and the shutters were firmly secured. Everything was tied down so that nothing could be blown away. The farmer smiled as he comprehended what his employer said. Now he understood what the man meant by when he said he could sleep when the wind blows. He went off to bed and slept soundly through the storm. When you're prepared physically, mentally, and spiritually, you have nothing to fear. Can you create your own peace and sleep when the wind blows through your life? Happiness, success, peace, and love are experienced when we live accordingly. They are not something you have, they are something you do. So thank you for listening to my readings. We're now going to go into our healing segment. And healing today is more prevalent than it's ever been before, and it's more needed probably today than it's needed in the past few weeks. So what I want you to do, as you're sitting there, just close your eyes and listen to this beautiful piece of music. Hold dear in your mind somebody that you feel maybe you needing at this time, need of healing at this time, but also care a thought for those in Ukraine that are going through what they're going through at this time. Together, we can create a great power for the spirit world to do with and use as they need. But as you're sitting there sending your healing thoughts, I want you to also, and this has come from the spirit world, I've had conversations with the spirit world in the past. When we see what's going on in the world at the moment, we can point fingers, we can make assumptions, we can make accusations, and it's far easier for us to spread hate, fear, whatever you want to call it. But the worst thing to do is feed fear with fear, feed hate with hate. We have to do the opposite. We have to fear, we have to fear hatred with kindness. So when we're sitting there for our healing segment, let's spare a healing thought and send a healing thought to those in the world that are creating this scenario at the moment. Let's send them healing. Let's try and eradicate this hate and this fear across the world today. So as you're doing so, just spare a thought for them and let's send our positivity and healing towards those minds that may need it at this time.
It's one of the most beautiful songs ever sung, is that Let There Be Peace on Earth. It's an absolute wonderful, moving song, and takes me to almost 2 years ago, where I was last within a church serving, where it was sung, where it was embraced, where people held hands and really rejoiced in the peace that we were going through at the time. So I'm going to ask you to, within your minds, hold hands with all your families, with all your friends, with all those people that you know, and all those people that you are going to meet or have met, and those people that suffer at this time in those war-torn countries, because they need our support, they need our upliftment, but they also need that peace that we bring, and what we live and what we think transpires. That universe hears us. So the more of us that can get together and rejoice within that peace, within our souls, within our very beings, and just send it out there, then hopefully we'll bring that peace much more to here in this time right now. As we don't want to step back in time, as history has showed us what man can do, we want to live within these peaceful times. We want to live as brother and sisters. Here in the UK, we have 101 ways of doing things. There's a saying, a lovely saying, that we can always find a way. If there's a will, there's always a possibility, there's always hope. So if we hold that hope, that will within us, then one day there will be peace again, and we need that to really reign. But going back to that saying of 100 ways of doing anything, we have many ways that we can achieve what our goals in life. But there's achieving, then there's succeeding as well, but succeeding the right way with our moral compass, that compass that shows us right from wrong. We have that thing in our life called choice, and it's through our mistakes that we learn to make the right choice, make the right decisions, not just for self, but for everybody else that we may come in contact with. And we never know at times how our reactions might react on somebody else. So actually holding true with your moral compass, that true authentic self, working from what we call that heart set, does make a difference. Working from somewhere we believe is true and right can have nothing but a positive effect. So if we start to live our life with that positivity, with hope, and really succeed in our dreams and really aspire with our dreams, then who knows what we can achieve in this life. Today is 101 gatherings for us all here, family of people with an idea or concept of reaching out and wanting to help people, wanting to bring peace and wanting to bring a harmony amongst a community of spiritually like-minded folk. But along that journey, we've gathered more people, more family members, more people in this community, knowing that we never leave anyone behind. And we have that saying, all for one and one for all. We look out for each other. This world needs more people to do that right now. If we can stand together, united within those truths, understanding that we are one family, we can make a difference. But family is where the heart is, isn't it? We were brought up by our parents. We were shown right and wrong. Even through play as a child, we discovered what was right and what was wrong. Even in that infancy, even in the playground, we discovered what was right and wrong. And as we grow, life still teaches us. As we get into those adolescent years, you know, those teenage years where we push the boundaries of life, where life is there for us to discover and how far we can push those boundaries, but we still learn right from wrong. And as we get older and we have children, we discover what's right and wrong. We've got to provide for our families. But it doesn't matter where we are from in this world, we still have all those ethics, those morals. We all work from that heart set to create a better place for ourselves. Eventually, hopefully, we'll leave a legacy for our children to follow in our footsteps, to know right from wrong, understanding how we can be to live our dreams, but hold within our heart that desire to be true, to be good, to make a difference within our own lives, to make sure that we do nothing without any regret, that we've done it for the right reasons, we've made the right choices. If we can teach our children to that, then we stand a chance of this world being even better. Because it's through those actions and learnings of school, of those adolescent years, of the career and work and family, that we really become who we truly are, who we truly want to be. I hope that I've made my parents really proud within my life. Everything that I've tried to do has always been to show, you know what, I'm not a bad son, I'm a good son. I might have different choices, different way of life. But again, I want to show my children also that there's a chance to be who they're meant to be, to live their dreams, to have that success, to feel that success, to feel that love of a father that's never judging, love of a mother that's never judging, love of family that never judge, but it's always there to support. It's these moments that really make our light shine. And right now we need our light to shine even brighter, to show that our families are true, that our children can be even truer, that they can spread that love just as we are right here and now. We've got Miss Sandra Champlain, Mr. Darren Wynne, carrying a family behind the scenes, all willing, wanting that light to shine brightly, to bring peace, to bring healing, to get rid of any fighting or ill feeling or dis-ease in this world. The more that we stand together unified, then we can shine as one light that speaks a truth that shows the ways for others to follow. Those footsteps that others can follow in, maybe hard trod at times, maybe where we feel like we can't do anything or can't succeed, or it feels like it's a pointless journey. We need to keep on going. We need to keep that light shining even brighter, because we never know who's watching, who's listening, whose life we may affect in some way. Many of the times, as myself and Kerry recently have been out demonstrating face to face, where people have come up to us and shared their thoughts about Sandra, about Darren, Scott in the background and ourselves, saying what a difference you've made. Well, today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be honest with you. Today, you've been my light. A few hours ago, I found out my father is in hospital. He's been there for 5 days. And yes, it's hard to speak about, not knowing that somebody I love and cherish has suffered in such a way. But my choice is to be here with you, sharing that light, sharing that truth, hoping we can all make a difference in this world, because it's that keeps me going. It's you that keeps me going. It's you that helps each of us going. We've built a community here that stands side by side today in this world. At this time, we need to stand side by side. As you can see from the colours that Darren, Sandra, and myself are wearing, we're showing our support for a part of the world that many of you may not know or may not have travelled to or know the people. But just like me, Sandra, Darren, and Kerry and a family, they're just the same wherever we come from. Needing that light to shine brightly there, sending our thoughts, is what we hope we can achieve today to make a difference that hopefully one day will be noticed, not for egotistical reasons, but notice that all of us standing together uniformed can help those people that we've never met and may never see, knowing that they speak a different language. You've heard those beautiful children sing. You've heard their voices. They're just like me and you. They're singing songs. They're raising that vibration. They're lifting people's hopes. I hope today, with those songs chosen by Darren and Sandra, that they raise your hopes. And in a way, we can all do something to make a difference. Whether it is, like Carol said earlier, to sit in meditation and dedicate those thoughts of peace and healing to those people, but also for us to stand together and united in song, in music, in prayer, in love, in the readings, in the address itself, to make a difference. If we can do something, one small thing, who knows where it might go. And I'm going to leave you with those thoughts and hand over to the wonderful Sandra Champlain.
Oh, thank you so much, Phil. And our prayers are definitely with you and your dad and your family, most definitely. And you know, speaking of family, we have a family here. And although we might be joined by iPads and iPhones and tablets and smartphones and computer screens, we are family. So we rejoice in the good times, and we're there with a shoulder to cry on in the tough times. I don't know how many times I can tell you that I've had some tough times, and I've made a party call to Darren and Scott and Phil and Carrie, and they've been right there for me. As we approach the 2-year mark on our Sunday gathering, I've been getting really emotional because it's 2 years without seeing my friends. It's 2 years since my mom and I lost our business. There's been some health things that have come up. There's been some grief. You know, I think we've all felt it because life hasn't been the same. We've gone through all kinds of experiences that are related to grief, out of control emotions, and many other things. And I know there are those in our Sunday gathering right now who have a loved one who have passed. And it's tough to put on a smile knowing that that love of your life is no longer physically with you. So we try every week to comfort and bring hope that although they might not physically stand with you, they are very much alive. They truly, truly are. So as we approach the 2-year mark, I get a little weepy, but that's okay because I'm also very proud of what we're doing. You know, there was a writer once who I took a workshop with, and she says, you know, no matter what's happening in your life, ask yourself this question. It's the worst thing that's happened to me because, and then you fill in the blank, but it's also the best thing that's happened to me because, and then you fill in the blank. And I tell you, you know, our lives turned around, but to be part of this community, to be sharing and delivering and witnessing miracles week after week with our classes and our demonstrations, you know, sometimes I have to pinch myself of what's happening. I mean, amazing evidence of the afterlife. And so, well, I was thinking of number 101 being close to the 2-year mark and getting sad. I also thought of 101 Dalmatians. Remember that movie, that Disney movie? Oh my gosh. And I started looking for pictures. And when I saw pictures of puppies, I found more pictures of puppies. And then suddenly I just started feeling happy. You know, we all have so much personal power that we can turn a frown into a smile. We can. And there's things that we can do to kick that in. And yeah, puppies are definitely one for me because they certainly are cute. And then I was thinking about, what if we all took some time and we wrote down 101 things that we love, right? So of course there's puppies and there's music and there's friends. And I mean, there's so much. And I think that'd be a great exercise for us all to do, a fun one, because when you think of these things, they actually start putting a smile on your face. And you might get to number 20 and go, oh, well, what else is there? And then you start remembering things you've done with family and friends and vacation spots and little jokes. And yeah, there's all kinds of things that could be on the list. We have all heard the expression, be the change we want to see in the world. And while there's some really awful things happening in the world, and truly there are, I think that it's important to keep an eye on the news, but we don't need to have the news on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I think that we are all in the center of our own universe. And out from each one of us stems family and friends and distant people and your social media accounts and all that. But we are the center of the universe. And being that, we are very powerful. You know, back in 2001, I had hit an all-time low, really, being Sandra. I was very stressed about life. I had the catering business with my mom, working with race car teams. And it seemed that everything that I did was tough. It was a challenge. It was stressful. I was unhappy. I also ran a small business distantly, and everything there was going wrong. And, you know, I just kind of wanted a way out, and I wanted an easier life, but I couldn't see the end of it. And of course, we all know what happened on that September 11th day when the towers came down. And for me, as awful as that was, it was the perfect excuse to quit. And so what many people don't know is for a couple of years, I said, I'm done with the catering business. I'm out of here. Perfect excuse. Don't know what's going to happen in the world. The world's too scary. I don't want to travel. And bless my mom, she hired some chefs to replace me and did the best job she can, until one day I get a call from some of the employees and things weren't going so well. And thankfully, a friend of mine had recommended a course, and I've mentioned it to you guys before. There was a weekend course called the Landmark Forum that I did, and it's a self-empowerment course is really what it was. But in it, you know, I realized that so much of who we are as people comes from our past. It comes from our childhood. It comes from these personal beliefs we had. And I never knew that I could be that change that I wanted in the world. I honest to God, I never knew that. So that was something that I learned in this weekend seminar. And I realized that there was some tough times going on with that catering business. And you know what? I'm going back, right? So I declare I'm going back. And who I became was the mighty captain of the ship. So we worked 18-hour days in that business, and lots of cuts and burns and bruises and stress and sleepless nights and stuff. So the Sandra that was a victim of it all became this powerful captain, that I had a smile on my face. I'd engage the employees on their favorite memories. I played music, not only in the kitchen cooking, I played it under the tent with some of the happiest tunes and put a little bounce in people's step. Even on setup day and cleanup day, when, you know, we were really miserable, you know, my mom was a product of the 50s. So I would play, you know, Chubby Checker and the Twist and things. And I watched people transform based on who I was being and what I was doing. So while we can't change the whole world, or maybe we can, but maybe today we can't, what we can do is we can be the change in our personal universe. So what I'm asking everybody is, yeah, if you want to start digging in for 101 things that make you happy, that's a fun thing to do. If you're with other people, engage them in the conversation. What are the things that make you happy? Because once you start getting people to talk about their happiness, guess what happens? It makes them happy. So we are powerful captains of our ship. Music is a good thing. I remember the movie Life is Beautiful, and it was a very sad movie about a gentleman in a concentration camp, but he was there with his little boy, and he just kept playing games to really transform the son's experience of what was happening. And it just told me that anything is possible. We can be that change we want to see. It starts with number one, be the captain of your ship in your own universe, because, you know, we're each in the center of it. No matter what you're feeling right now, even if you're suffering from really deep grief, there's a little step in the right direction that you can go. You may not be able to go from sadness to big old smiles on your face, but you can start reliving some of those memories that you have and things that you appreciate. And it is possible, my friends, as I showed with my business, that we went on another 18 years strong, being the biggest caterer in motorsports, attending to more people than any caterer ever did. And I was the captain of that ship with a smile, bringing the excitement. And even to this day, people talk of Marion's Hospitality. That's the name of my mom. And with joy, and there's nothing quite like it that's been created since we left there. So I'm just going to leave you with that 101, whatever it is you want to be. But are you going to choose this week going forward to play the little game of positivity and what makes you smile and what makes you happy? Or are you going to be one of those crusty old Grinches, the ones that bring everybody down? Don't be that. So I'm happy to pass it over to somebody who's not crusty, he's not old, and he's not a Grinch. It's Darren. Thanks, Darren.
Thank you for that, Sandra. I'm glad I'm not grumpy old Grinch, although I'm sure I can be at times. It was so nice sitting here listening to Sandra and Phil that I forgot I've got to talk next. But again, my heart and my thoughts go out to Phil and his family at this moment in time. This week for me, go back a couple of days. For me, this week was horrendous. We've been short-staffed at work. We've been extra busy because it's a school holidays down here in the southeast of the UK. It's been extra busy. I've been the only person in that kitchen for nearly 2 weeks solid. And when you're cooking and cooking and cooking constantly, I become exhausted. I become tired. I become ratty. And I probably have become that person Sandra described, actually, grumpy and grunchy. And I said to Scott, I said, I can't do this any longer. I'm exhausted. I'm knackered. I need a break. But then you come home and you switch on the television and you turn on news and you see what's going on across the world. And I think, do you know what? Actually, I've not had a bad week. I've not had an awful week. My mind's told me I have, and I've made myself believe I have. But when you see and hear other things going on across the world, it really does put things into perspective. Actually, do you know what? In comparison, I've probably had a great week. I probably had a fantastic week. It's just my mindset's allowed things to set in to tell me otherwise. And then I realised I'm in charge of this week's Sunday Gathering. What do I do? And like Sandra, the first thing that came into my head, when you do say 101, the first thing that comes into your head is 101 Dalmatians. And I laughed to myself, and I think I spoke to Sandra briefly about it. I said, should I do it on the 101 Dalmatians? And I thought, no, I can't really, because it's not really a theme and there's no thought behind it. And it's very Disney-like. And although we all love Disney, we're passionate about Disney. And I'm sure all of you out there have seen that film, 101 Dalmatians. It's about a couple that own a couple of dogs, love and adore and cherish their dogs, and their dogs have puppies. And then you get this evil woman, Cruella de Vil, who wants to steal these puppies, who wants to she wants to destroy these puppies, I suppose, to get the fur, to make money. She becomes greedy. And when I started looking at it like that, I thought, actually, in 101 Dalmatians, you've got all the love, the family environment, and then you've got the opposite. Someone wants to steal, kidnap, and they're showing violence to do that. And it's all for money and greed. And I thought, do you know what? How different is that to today's world and some of the people in today's world? If you look what's happening at the moment, we have one person. They're after something that doesn't belong to them. They're destroying lives of people that are loving, and have families and have got futures and, have their own animals and their own kids. They're doing it for money. They're doing it for greed. And they're doing it with violence. And I thought, actually, what's going on in today's world? is not too dissimilar to what's going on or what we see in 101 Dalmatians. Although in 101 Dalmatians, it's not put in quite a brutal way. And I'm in a know, and I thought, how can I cascade this into our Sunday gathering? And I really, really struggled. You know, I had in my head the 101 Dalmatians, and then I had what was going on across the world. And then a book came to mind. About 15 years or so ago, I used to live with two flatmates, but it was flatmates, it was in a house. And I don't know why we had this wonderful idea that we'll get this book. It's called, you probably can't see it, I'm holding it up, but you can't see it. It's called 101 Things to Do Before You Die. And we bought it and we went through it and we said, do you know what? We're all going to achieve all those 101 things in that book before we die. Well, I tell you now, that book's been on my bookshelf for 15 years. I've never really looked at it and I've never really shown an interest in it. And it was earlier on, I just thought I'll flick through it. Some of the things in there, get yourself arrested, do a bungee jump, do a skydive. Do you know what? I couldn't think of anything worse. They're not the things I want to do before I die, you know, and you go on and there's more and more in there. And I kind of think, hang on, this one person that's written this book is trying to tell all of us what to do, the 101 things we should do before we die. No, no, no. We're in charge of our own destiny. We're in charge of our own future. We need to write our own books. We need to write the 101 things we need to do before we die. What would your 101 things be? What would you write about? What would you want out of your life and within your life? And I know we've got a lot going on in the world at the moment, and it's very sad to see. And it's, you know, it's making a lot of people angry, you know, a bit like myself, and we're getting very passionate about it. And I was laid in bed last night and I was going over today's service, as you do. And all the songs we have today, they've all been chosen. And apart from our healing song, every song we've got throughout our service today, it's all sung by young children from the Ukraine. And I thought that would be a nice way, in some way, to kind of try and show the people of Ukraine we're there for them, we're behind them. You know, as little as that is, you know, our hearts are there with them. And I was laid in bed last night and I was going through the music and I was I had all different emotions going through my head. You know, I had it as 101 reasons, but I thought, what reasons? What, you know, I had all these things going through my head, trying to look at a reading, trying to determine what I'd talk about, how I was going to do it. And then a post came up on my page. And there's a mutual friend of mine and Scott's who's actually from Kiev in Ukraine. We've both worked for him. And I read through his post yesterday and I read through it again today. And it actually brought tears to my eyes reading it. Obviously, he lives here in the UK, not far from us. He has a 6-year-old little girl here and a family. And he's kind of been quiet on social media, understandably, through what's going on for the past week or so. But he put out a post and it was saying he can't respond to everyone individually because a lot of people are also sending their thoughts and their prayers to him. And he starts off going into how he's feeling, what this means to him, how this, you know, and he went through the roller coaster of emotions this has brought within him, the anger, the rage, the sadness, the wanting to be there, the wanting to help. And he's got family and friends still in Ukraine. And then went on to explain how he's torn. You know, he has a 6-year-old daughter here that he absolutely adores and loves with all his heart. He wants to see her go to school. He wants to see her grow up. He wants to see her get married. He wants to see her have kids. And he said, but then he goes on to say his moral compass. He feels that he should be going back to Ukraine, his home country, the country that he loves, he adores. You know, he has people there that he loves and adores. And he wants to go back for his family and his friends. But he's torn between, you know, what do you do? And he said, if I do go back to Ukraine, I may never come back again. You know, my daughter may be without a father. I'll never get to see all those things with my kid growing up, etc., etc. And he said, but whatever decision I go into, I want you all to respect that decision. And I think, how in 2022 have we got to this place that people have to be in a position to make those decisions? it's wrong. It's, none of us, nobody within this world should be put in a position to have to make those kind of decisions. Do you stay here with your kids? Do you go home to your parents? Do you defend, how on earth in 2022 have we got to this situation, this scenario? And I read through it last night and I read through it this morning, and I couldn't help but shed a tear. For someone to be in that position, it's wrong. 2022. And, and then you look at the news, all the different bits and pieces going on. And I looked, people are doing so much. Everyone's heart's with Ukraine. You look around the world at the wonderful things people are doing. The countries in Europe surrounding Ukraine, they're opening up their borders. They're welcoming people in. They're taking people into their homes. They're feeding them. They're clothing them. They're doing what they can. And, I'm sure you'll all agree, we sit and look at, what's going on in the world. We do our little bit, we send our thoughts, we send our prayers, but sometimes you feel that's not enough, more needs to be done, and I go back to the similarity with Cruella de Vil. The sad thing is, it's taken one person to inflict this, what's going on now, and create this anger, this fear, this frustration, this violence. One person. And that's crazy in this day and age that this can be allowed to go on. And then you start reflecting on your own lives, as I did and Sandra did with her business. You start looking and thinking, oh my God, my life is this, my life is that. Actually, do you know what? We look and it's not. We need to be thankful for what we have and the position we're in. You look across the world at what's going on, you look at Ukraine, these people aren't in a fortunate position. We're in a position to help these people. And when I said I looked at this book, 101 Things to Do Before I Die, a load of old twaddle, the 101 things I want to do before I die, help humanity, bring happiness to people, care for people, help people, make the world a better place, make the world more enjoyable, make the world more fun, be there for people. I can go on and on and on of all the 101 things I want to do before I die. And I can tell you they're not written in that book. They're written in my book. And I think each and every one of us has personal goals, personal targets within our lives. It could be similar to me. You want happiness, you want peace, you want to help people, you want to be there for people, you want to love people, you want to be kind, you're caring, whatever it may be. So the one thing I would say to all of you, and Sandra touched on it, why don't we all sit down? Why don't we write our own books? Write down the 101 things you want to do before you die, the 101 things that you want to see. But don't just write it down, live it, be part of it. Sometimes it's quite easy to write things down and put it to one side, as I did with this book. I didn't write the book, but I got the book, I put it to one side. But it needs to be something you're passionate about, you care about. There's no point in putting something down and not meaning it. It has to be something you truly live by. Your authentic self truly is. So I just urge you all to write your own 101 things you want to do before you die. And I think we can all truly make a difference to humanity. We can make a difference to the world. But, we shouldn't be finding ourselves in these situations in this day and age that somebody has to make these life-changing decisions, which I couldn't even begin. I did send a message to him to say I couldn't even begin to comprehend or understand where your mind's at and how, I can't even, nobody can help somebody make these kinds of decisions. But the one thing we can do is let's be better people. We're all wonderful people. We're all wonderful souls. We're all wonderful human beings. But let's in some small way try and cascade that to the rest of the world. Let's show how great humanity truly can be. Do your 101 things to do before you die. Create that happiness, create that love, create that, whatever it may be that you can do to make a difference. And like I said, you see these wonderful things on the TV, and I was watching it earlier, I think it was in Poland. and a lot of the European countries now, they've eradicated their visas. There is no border. Get away. If people want to get away from that fear, that anxiety, come across to our country. We'll look after you. We'll do what we can. Money's being given to people in these situations to help them. But I ask the question, why does it need to come to something like this before these decisions are made? We should have these things going on normally through day-to-day life. And it's only by our own contributions, however small or significant they can be, and never think that anything you do is too small. It can be as small as, every day you leave your house, smile and say hello to your neighbor. You may not have done that before. And I know in some places in the world, you get sort of frowned and looked upon. I do it all the time, especially at work. I'm saying hello to everyone. Yeah, I may get ignored. Doesn't matter. I've been polite. I've done my bit. I've said hello. But I guarantee you, the more people that do that, the more people that will start to wake up and realize that we truly are all beautiful souls living on such a beautiful planet, and we can do so much more to preserve and protect it. So have a think, do your 101 things you want to truly do before you die, and get those pens going. But when you're writing it, do it with meaning, and be your true, authentic self. And we truly can make a difference in this world. So thank you for listening to me. And I'm now going to hand you back to Sandra.
Oh, thank you so much, Darren. Bungee jumping will not be on my list. No, it won't. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have moved on to our demonstration of mediumship. And this is our 101st demonstration. And we've got Phil, who will be doing our demonstration today. Now, I know there are different ways we can send healing and love. And, we think of prayer for what's going on in the world. There's a secret thing that many people don't know is the more joy that we feel, the more this unseen world can use our energy to make a difference. So there are no doubt and absolutely a team of probably millions of souls working behind the scenes on behalf of our world. And they need energy to be able to manipulate reality, so to speak. And so the energy comes from those prayers that we have, the smiles, the laughter, the joy. And if you can imagine our globe lighting up right now with all kinds of beams of light coming from each one of us on our Sunday gathering, the brighter we shine is because the more joy that we feel. So in our demonstrations of mediumship, yes, we want to reunite and show you that the spirit world is around, but we also want to put a smile on your face. We want you to feel the joy. Our loved ones who have passed from this world are healthy, they are well, they are whole, they are by our side, they are our biggest champions. And I'm sure it frustrates them as much as it frustrates us that we just can't pick up the phone and call. So that's why we do the demonstrations here, so that everybody knows the loved ones are around. Absolutely, they are. And when it's our time to go, they're going to be the first ones to greet us. But that's for another time. So if you're new to our Sunday gathering, during this part, Phil will be giving some information about the spirit person that has connected with him. He'll be giving, some different bits of details. We want you to listen in clearly. If this is a person that you recognize that no longer walks this earth, now it could be a friend, it could be a family member, sometimes it's somebody distant, but we really want you to listen in. Is that somebody that I recognize? And after he gives us a certain amount of information, I'm going to turn it over to you who recognizes this information, and you can press your raise hand button. Now, I want you to look on your device if you don't know where this is already, and find that raise hand button and go ahead and press it and see what happens. Ooh. All right. Now it should say lower hand, and I need you to press it again to take your hand down. Sometimes it takes a few minutes to get to the right person, but the spirit world, very, very smart. They know who's in our audience, even if we're appearing virtually. It's a very real community that we have here. Now, unfortunately, over the past few weeks, we've had some people from the spirit world step forward and no one raised their hand. Now, I just want to tell everybody that's here that people have emailed us after our Sunday gatherings to say, I could understand that information. That person was for me. You know what, gang? We are all the same. We all have fears. We are all human, but please don't be afraid to press your raise hand button. If you're really getting that tug that, that's my person, we want you to press your raise hand button. So the first thing, though, is when he gives the information, we want you to be able to accept 100% of what he says, because we often have big gatherings here. And if there's nobody with their hand raised, Phil will dial it in a little bit more to see what else he can do. So we're going to, I forgot to say, is those of you that work with Phil today, we just want you to say yes, no, or I don't know to the information that he gives. All right. I know we're all very excited, but let him do the work and deliver the information so that we all know that the spirit world is around. And clearly, with several hundred people in our gathering today, not everybody gets a reading, but these people are stepping forward in the spirit world to let us all know that our loved ones are around. Okay. We like to listen to a joyful piece of music, and we have a really nice one again from the Ukraine Children's Choir, very peppy one. And we just want you to sit back, relax, feel some joy. If you want to hug the ones you're with. I know some of you are with loved ones right now. Be together, hold hands. If you're sitting alone, just envision those people that no longer walk the planet, that they're with you, or even friends and family that can't be physically with you. Just put them all in, pack them in the room with you, and let's listen to the song, and then we'll be back with Phil. Here we go. Oh, I love that song. Okay, well, here comes Phil, who's a big part of my universe.
Thank you very much, Sandra. It's always a pleasure to listen to people sing and what music gets picked. But when it's children, there's something just a little bit different, isn't it? A little bit special. And I think you'll all agree with me. The first part of that, you couldn't hear an accent. They were just sounding like us, perfect English. He says he who tries to speak perfect English. Well, it's a pleasure to be here with you all. And again, I'm going to do my best for you. As you could see earlier on, I was a little bit of emotional sort of thing, but yeah, we push that to one side. So without further ado, I'm going to try and make that contact with the spirit world, because I do believe here I have Mother with me. And I know Mother has cancer, but I also know that Mother, it's not that she didn't have treatment, but I know she was really strong and really wanted to go as far as she could without that treatment, because it's almost where she wanted to lead by example. She really wanted to show people around her that strength of mind and everything else. But I also believe as well, she loved nothing more than the family, and she always had, how can I put this, solutions for her children and everyone else, where she could always find a way of inspiring or find a way for those almost like 101 different ways of really getting things done here as well. So I know I have Mother, I know she has cancer, but I know she's really soft-centered when it comes to the family, very much, I want to say. And I do believe if it's not her birthday, there's an anniversary on Valentine's Day, because I know there just seems to be that real sense of Valentine's Day there as well.
Wow, thank you very much. Okay, who can understand this information? All right, we've got our friend Stacy. All right, Stacy, if you could unmute yourself.
Hi there.
Hello, Stacy. I know I've given you contacts before, but do you understand the reference to Valentine's Day as well?
I sure do.
Okay, that's good, because I know just as I was closing up there, it was shouted in for me. But I know here that Mum's a very strong character, and she wouldn't take no for an answer, almost where people were defeated or get deflated, but she'd have none of it. She'd always pick them up.
Yes, absolutely.
And if I also said as well that if you acted down or felt depressed or felt sorry for yourself, she would almost railroad you into this positive way of thinking.
She would, yep.
And it doesn't matter how big you are, how small you are, what you look like, she would always be the same way.
Yes.
And if you didn't do it, she just wouldn't give over. She'd just make sure you did do it.
Right.
Because again, but I also want to say she was very, very family orientated, and I know she loved nothing more than the family being together.
Yes, she did.
And I also know there should be birthday cards, anniversary cards, all kept still.
Yep, every one of them.
Because again, and I actually feel that these were made as children as well. She even kept those.
Yes.
And it's not just about the cards, it's about the writing within them. But I also feel there was letters there as well.
Yes.
Because I just feel that Mum's so sentimental. But I also feel that with Mum as well, that she kept locks of hair of the children.
Yeah.
And I know that you, obviously female, but I know you have a sister as well. But I just feel that even where the hospital bands and things were kept as well to commemorate births.
Yes, absolutely.
And I actually feel that she would have kept the first rattle as well, almost like you know, these gifts you get for, okay, this is where my mind goes now, almost where I want to say confirmations and christenings.
Yes.
Because again, here, but I also believe that Mum was even more sentimental than that, because I feel that she kept photographs and the old black and white photographs.
Yes.
And I want to say that there's this almost where Mum was very keen with the photographs, where she would have segregated them out and separated them.
Yes.
Because I feel like they want to be in ordered, where there's the older family members, then there's the children, then there's the birthday pictures.
Yeah.
And I want to go one step further, because I just feel here that there's also like holiday snaps and all, almost where they're kept in, do you know the old films that we used to get developed with the oh God, what are they called? They got the strips, haven't they? You can look through and hold them up, the negatives. Because I feel she would have kept these as well. And there must have been collections of these old photographs kept in the year of do you know when you get them from the shop, when you've had them developed, they come in like a little wrapper with like Kodak or Fujifilm or something. They were kept in those as well.
Yes, I have them all.
Good, because I feel like they're numbered for each year, like, and I keep on seeing 1979, so I know somebody was born in 1979 as well.
One of the grandkids, yes.
That's fine, because again, I know the special years are named, but I know it's to do with the children, as you said, the grandkids. But again, there's just this sense of Mum being organised, wanting everything in place. But I feel that Mum was like this, even with her own life, and especially towards the end, where she wanted everything organised.
Yes.
And I actually feel that she either wrote demands of what she expected of people at the end for her.
Not demands, more like requests.
Okay, let me put it this way, because she's very strong-minded, the way that she impresses on my mind. I've asked the spirit will to overshadow me that little bit more tonight to help me get through my own emotions. But I know here, it's almost where I'm going to use your words, those requests then, they felt more like demands. You've got to do this and they've got to be done a certain way.
Exactly, yeah.
And I actually feel that she picked her own music as well.
Yes, she did.
And I actually believe that music wasn't somber, it was quite upbeat.
Yeah, yep.
And I do believe that some of those words, one particular song, the lyrics can be changed into more of a humorous song.
Yes.
Because I know, and I know that some of those words are unpolitically correct. And I know here that it's just Mum's sense of humor. She wanted to go out in her own way.
Exactly, yep.
And I also know that Mum's not on her own, because I know Dad's there, and I also know Sister's there with her as well. And they come as a family right now for you, because it feels where that upliftment is needed. And I know that we've all seen what's been going on the news, and like Sandra says, we don't want to watch the news all the time, but I know your heart's gone out to that country as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I know you've asked prayers for that country and things to intervene, because I know your mum, your dad and your sister are acknowledging what you're doing here. And just before I leave you, you must have also had a sense of wanting to either collect packages or do something for the Ukraine as well.
Oh my gosh, yes, there's a friend of mine doing that, so yes.
Because again, it feels like I want to be getting blankets, all kinds of things together. And even where I'm seeing candies and chocolates and all kinds been put together to send out there, just to give that little bit of relief. And I know this is what Mum, Dad and Sister are giving me that acknowledgement for. Just bear with me 1 second. Would you understand where, if you're you, bear with me, I just need to choose my words very carefully. With your dad, would I be right in saying anything that somebody wanted support with, he would be there and he would help to his best ability?
I don't understand that.
Bear with me. If I said that people needed help, he would always be there. He'd always try and help them.
Yes, that I understand.
Because again, it just feels where you're thinking of this help, he's doing everything he can for you to make that successful. And I'm going to leave his thoughts there as well. And one last thing, I know there's a kiss being blown from the spirit world, and that's from your sister as well. So I'm going to leave that with you and say thank you very much, Stacey.
Thank you so much, Phil. Bless you.
You're right. You're welcome. Absolutely welcome.
Thank you, Stacey. Thank you, Phil.
Good.
Lower hands. Thank you, everybody, for listening, doing your part.
Okay. I do believe I have a father with me, and I do believe that father, and I want to say, even though I'm calling me father and dad, I know he's got a real childlike sense of humor. And I also know here he liked to go to the cinema with his children. And I know with this as well, that the movie of Herbie, the Beetle car, keeps on coming to mind. So I know there should be a memory of this as well. But I also know that Dad was a car fanatic. He loved his cars. And I want to say with these cars, there would have been, it's almost like I want to go to different sort of events that have different cars. And I'm not talking about racing, even though I feel there's some kind of speedway in there. I feel this is about classics and cars that have been spruced up and all kinds of things here.
All right, thank you very much. Who can understand this? All right, we've got Maria with her hand up. Maria, hello. Oops, I just pressed the button. Could you press your unmute button again? I'm always so quick with the fingers. Hello.
Hello, Sandra. Hello, Phil.
Hello, Maria. Do you understand everything I've said?
Yes, I do.
Good. And with your dad, would you understand where he was a big kid, a big child?
Oh, yes.
And it's almost like I know even now I want to pull faces, I want to make you laugh, I want to get you in trouble a little bit. That's his sense of humor.
Yes.
Because it's just almost where he would do anything to get people through a hard time, and he would try and make light of everything.
Yes.
But I also feel he was a bit of a car enthusiast because he liked to go to different car shows.
Yes.
And there must be that memory of going to the cinema quite a lot with him.
Yes.
And particularly where I mentioned Herbie.
Yes.
And if I also said that he went to, I'm trying to think how people will help me when if I get this wrong. It's almost like I want to go to the cinema to watch Burt Reynolds and the Cannonball Run with the cars as well.
There was a special Finnish one.
Ah, good, because I know here, I'm trusting him with what I'm seeing, but I know here he just feels that your dad would enjoy having a good time, and it was really important about him laughing, because as Sandra said, the more that we're happy, it rubs off on people. But I feel with your dad, the more he laughed, everyone laughed around him.
Oh, yes.
But I also know there's a real sentimental and soft side to your dad as well, because I always know he was there for you where he could be.
Oh, yes.
And I want to say as well, and I know, Maria, you're a young lady, but he must have bought little souvenir cars for you as well.
Not for me.
But do you understand? Okay, if it's not for you, then he would have bought them like little tiny model cars for people.
Yes.
And he would have collected them as well.
Not him.
Then if it's not him, then who he bought the cars for must have collected them.
Oh, yes.
And I know they were kept in pristine condition. They were in the boxes.
Yes.
And I want almost like the Matchbox cars.
Oh, yes.
That's fine. And would I be right in saying that your dad liked anything with an engine?
Oh, yes.
Because I'm also seeing trains as well. And it's almost like your dad's fascinated how everything works.
Oh, yes.
And if I also said that the person who he got the cars for, he must have got them like a railway and top model railway set as well.
Not railway,
Not
probably.
railway.
No.
Then bear with me
Okay.
1 second. No. Thank you. That's fine. I think I've got something wrong. I'm going to take that back. Would I be right in saying where your dad was a big kid at heart, he'd love to play with toy cars and trains and things?
Oh, yes.
Because I know I can see him playing with model railways and things, but I don't
Yes.
feel they were his. But I know he'd love to see how they all worked. But I
Oh,
know
yes.
this was his mindset where he liked to know the mechanics, he liked to know the engineering.
Yes.
And I also believe where he would have lived at one time was quite a rural area.
Oh, yes.
And I know he would have helped people mechanically in the area.
Probably, yes.
If I said that your dad was very much self-contained, he could fix more or less anything.
Yes.
And if I said, though, that they were very unconventional fixes, he just know how to make something to mend. It's almost like make, do, and mend.
I hope so, yes.
That's fine. Because again, I keep on seeing you trying all kinds of things. But would I also be right with your father, Maria, your dad, that he liked to be outdoors a lot?
Yes.
And there would be memories of him going out in all kinds of weathers because he liked just to be outdoors.
Yes.
But I also know there's a charitable side to him where he would walk to check in on neighbours.
Yes, yes, yes.
Because I know it's this giving, this sense of pride. And I know we're here at 101 services, but I know this is the same attitude your dad has, where it is about giving and helping other people, really, that community spirit.
Oh, yes.
And where we used to live, there would have been pine trees as well.
Pine trees, very much so.
Because and again, we used to play with your father in the trees, hide and seek.
Yes.
Or seek and search, whatever it's called, because I know there's memories
Yes.
here. But I
Yes.
also know as well that your dad would have served his country, like almost like it's like a military service just for a few years.
It's obligatory.
Yeah, that's where I meant. That's where I'm going to. I couldn't think of the words because I just feel it needed to be done. But I also know with those practices and exercises and where he did his duty, his mindset's also going to the Ukraine, because I know that your dad could be that person that spoke out for others.
Oh, yes.
And I'm going to leave his love, knowing that he's with you, knowing that he's doing everything he can, and he's trying to make, do, and mend with you at the moment to encourage you to move forward. I'm going to leave that with you, Maria.
Thank you very much, Phil.
You're
Thank you, Sandra.
welcome.
Thank
Oh,
you.
you're very welcome. Welcome. Thank you.
Okay. I do believe I have somebody's son here. I know that this son would have served in the armed forces. I do believe he lost his life in the forces. I feel it was in action as well. And I know he's very selfless. The way that I want to describe him is that how he passed was helping others. I just believe here he went out of his way, and this is where it happened. And I actually want to say he's almost like gone in to rescue somebody, and this is where he passes.
Thank you very much, Phil. All right, who can recognize this information?
And I want to go a little bit further and say he actually received a medal for this, almost like bravery.
No hands up yet, Phil.
That's absolutely fine. I actually want to say, and please forgive my words, because I might use the wrong words, but I know the meaning I'm going for here. It feels like he was boots on the ground, and it was almost like peacekeeping. And I know it's almost where things had calmed and there wasn't a great deal of danger, but I know there was these, just how can I say this, episodes where they'd just flare up and they had to react to things, because I feel mainly he was there as a peacekeeper.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, no hands up. This isn't resonating to someone.
And I actually feel it's the British Army. I feel it's a UK soldier. If I'm wrong with son, then I know somebody would know him, because that's the only thing I can change here.
All right, thank you. All right, everybody look deep into your memory banks and thoughts about this gentleman.
And I'm also aware of the surname of Holland going through my mind. So I know the surname of Holland. I'm not saying it's his name, but somebody would understand the name of Holland as well.
We don't have any hands raised, Phil.
It's a real shame. I'm just hoping nobody's going to do what they've done last few weeks.
I know.
And I understand that sometimes from the emails we've got, people are deciding, is it their partner or is it them? And we just need to get to the right person. And I might, like I said in a few weeks ago, where I said transplant and it was an intervention list. I know we can get our words, it's just how the spirit world impress upon us. But there should be enough there. I know he's a young man. I know he dies in service, and I know it's almost like an attempt to rescue as well. And I'm actually feeling, in fact, what I'm going to do is just hold on to a bit of evidence just for a second, ladies and gentlemen, because I just want to change something. I know he died in service, and I know there's not a lot of details known about what happened, but I actually want to say this is where I know he would go out of his way, and I know it seemed to happen when it shouldn't have. He's going to rescue, he's going on a search. I know there's something secretive there, just as I go back in, but I know that somebody should be able to take this, and that surname of Holland is very, very strong. And I actually believe the way that I'm being impressed here, if I'm wrong with son, I actually want to say that it's somebody would know from their school or a connection, because I keep on seeing my high school, and I know I'm not connecting to that school, but I know I'm connecting to somebody that would know who was in the army from school.
All right, thank you, Phil. Is there anyone in our audience that's getting this tug? Should I, shouldn't I raise my hand? Go ahead and do it. Because right now no one has their hand raised. And it'd be a shame if this young man didn't get to say what he wants to say.
And it's funny because I know the one that I couldn't place came the first on when Kerry done last week. That was the first contact.
No, Barbara's got her hand up. Thank you, Barbara. Would you press your unmute button, Barbara?
Yes.
Hello. Welcome.
Hello,
Welcome.
Barbara. Do you understand? Tell me what you understand what I've said.
I understand a man from the service. I don't get from high school, though.
You don't get from high school. Just bear with me. And you didn't know. Bear with me. Then if I've got little bits wrong, I'll hold them and I'll get the spirit world to sort that out for me. But I'll just work with you for a second. Would I be right in saying this gentleman received, this boy received a medal for his service, though?
I wouldn't know at that point.
Bear with me. And would you know that he was a peacekeeper when it happened?
No.
No, it doesn't feel right. Thank you, Barbara, for coming forward.
You.
It doesn't feel right.
All right. Thank you, Barbara, for coming forward. Definitely.
Mm.
Because we never know, do we?
True. It's funny because I actually feel where this would have been Afghanistan, because I keep on asking and I keep on seeing the particular uniforms, and so I know it's a hot country. I feel it's Afghanistan, that side of things here, that somebody would know. and I keep on seeing an image of a lady, and I know here this is where the spirit world is showing me who they're trying to get to, and I'm just asking a few more questions. So I don't know if one of the participants is reaching out to somebody at the moment to confirm or whichever, but I know this is what the spirit world seemed to be showing me here. That's fine. Can I do something a little bit different,
Of
Sandra?
course, always.
I'm going to hold that contact to see if anyone comes by. We've got several minutes left. I'm going to hold that. I'm not going to let go of it, but we're going to do another contact and see if something comes forward. We're going to give them that space. Is that okay?
Perfect.
Okay, good. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Again, I'm just asking just to see what happens here. I know I've got more than one person coming there because I've done this. Bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. I know as I become aware of the spirit world again, I also want to talk about a gentleman. I do believe this is husband. I also believe husband passes at a young age. I do believe that I'm no more than 40s, getting into 50s. I know there seems to be a heart problem there. I also believe as well that I keep on seeing it's either Boston or Maine, that area, and I know I'm in the US, and I know here that it's almost like a degenerate heart condition that I have with him.
Okay, we've got Lisa with her hand up. All right, unmute yourself, Lisa. Hello.
Hi, Sandra. Hi, Phil.
Hello, Lisa. I know I've given you a contact before, but do you understand everything I've said?
Yes.
And you understand the area of Boston and Maine to do with your husband?
Maine.
Yes, no?
Yes,
Okay,
Maine.
that's fine. That's fine. Because again, and would I be right in saying with your husband, and I know I've done contacts before, so I'll keep this a little bit shorter. Would I be right in saying that your husband was very much his own man?
Yes, Phil.
And if I said that he did things his own way?
Oh, yeah.
Because and I'm not saying he's awkward or anything like that. I know he knows his mind and he does things his own way because he's got this sense about him of he knows what makes him happy. So I want to say in his earlier life that there was a lot of things against him that really he had to learn to get over.
Absolutely.
That's fine. And would I be right in saying that your husband liked his own company? He was very much okay in his own company?
Absolutely.
And would I also be right in saying he could play the guitar?
Oh, yeah. Like no
Because
tomorrow.
And would I be right in saying that he could just strum along and create his own songs?
Oh, yeah.
And if I also said that when he strummed these songs and that, he would write songs or sing you songs as well?
Oh, yeah.
And I also say that he liked country and western music.
Yeah, he liked all music.
I know there's that country and western. So he must have done that slow guitar song where he sung. And if I'm right here, he had quite a deep voice as well.
Yes.
And,
yes.
and would I be right in saying he did this as a profession?
Somewhat.
Somewhat. Then he must have actually, thank you, he must have either sung at get-togethers as well.
Yes.
Because
yes.
I know I can entertain people. But I actually feel as well, and would I be right in saying he used to have a baseball cap?
Yes, many.
And would I be right in saying that he used to support the Boston Red Sox?
Yeah.
Because I feel that's the cap he has. But I also believe as well with your husband that he, like when he used to work or have to think about things, he'd turn his cap round the wrong way.
Yes. Yes,
because I know that's where he puts his thinking brain on, as he says as well. Because I've asked him, because I've done contacts for you before, I've asked him for new evidence, and I know this is what he's doing here as well. But I also believe that he would have collected little memorabilia to do with music.
Yes.
And would I be right in saying he liked to drink Budweiser as well?
Sometimes. Sometimes.
Would I be right in saying there's little memorabilia of Budweiser that he used to keep?
No.
That's a good no, because I know here there would be either, I think I've got you. If I said there was, if he had like a unique mirror that had like an emblem on it, or
Yes,
that's fine, because I kept on thinking it was the Budweiser, but I know it's this emblem. It's just his way. And I also know while he worked, he would whistle as well.
yes.
And I also know he would keep himself busy by doing little bits and bats around the house.
Yes, definitely.
And this is where you'd hear the whistle. But I also know that your husband liked to be outside.
Yes.
And I also know where we used to live was a little tiny, I'm not sure if it's a cabin or small log house.
Wow. Yeah, it was a cabin.
Because again, I keep on seeing this cabin, but I also believe as well with your husband, that he liked to do a upper. He must have need renovating.
Yes.
And I know your husband could do mix and match things and put them together to make do, but it always looked to the standard. It didn't look out of place.
Yes.
And if I said that out of bits of wood, he would make things and make the cabin look more authentic.
Yes.
Because it feels like I want to salvage little wagon wheels and things like this, cart wheels, understand?
Yes. Hi, baby.
And I also know here he would make little flower pots out of odds and ends of wood as well.
I don't remember.
Bear with me. If I said he liked to do little planters or put plants in front of the cabin.
Yes.
But I know that bit was for you to make it more homely.
Yes.
Because if I said that your husband just wanted to, how can I put this? He was a simple man that had simple needs.
Absolutely, Phil.
Because again, it's just this impression. I want to say he could have even lived on the road. He didn't need or require a lot.
Absolutely.
And I also know where we used to live, where the cabin was, there was a couple of ways you could get into town. Would that be correct?
Yes.
And if I said his favorite way was to go the more scenic route over the bridges.
Yes.
Because I know he's driving me through different places. But I also know there should be a place called Pine Lodge as well.
Oh my God, yes.
And I know that there would be your husband liked to go off track in his little truck. He must have had like a ute or a truck or something.
Yes.
And I know here he would have driven off route and driven down to the water as well with you.
Oh yeah.
And I know it's almost like we would have spent an afternoon or whichever just out of the way of people.
Yes, Phil.
There's a song called, I'm sure it's something 69, where we smoked things and did things and all the rest of it. It's playing in my mind. God. You understand, we used to like music like that, but we used to like days like that.
Yes, absolutely.
Because I know he's not bothered about who's listening, what people think. This is him. And I know just recently you've called out to him for help because you felt at a low end. Understand?
Yes.
And I know he's just said, I love you more than you can remember. I just feel you're his world and he's doing everything he can to reach out. And I have, let me just, there's something very personal here he won't open up. It's just he's got your back. He's got your back. And I know this is about life and how you're feeling. Okay. Forgive me, Lisa, would I be right in saying he used to have I don't know what they're called. You know the little thing you plink a guitar with, you strum it with?
Yes, the pigs.
Okay, then you must still have that.
It's in my wallet.
That's fine. 'Cause that's, in fact, that's where I was about to go. So I'm going to leave his love with you, Lisa, and say thank you very much for allowing me to do that.
Oh my God,
allowing
thank
him
you,
to come
Phil,
forward.
so much.
And one last thing, I know you've been stood by a water's edge just recently thinking
God.
about it,
Oh my God, yes, this morning.
because I know here he's just acknowledging he was with you. So I'm going to leave his love and say thank you very much for allowing me to do that, Lisa.
Thank you, Phil. I hope your dad feels better. Thank you
Me
so
too, me
much.
too. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you,
Me
Phil.
too. Okay, thank you very much. So I'm going to just open this up again. In that time, has anyone had a thought or reach out, or because I know there's something about contact being made, that last contact?
With the soldier. Okay, we have Angela and Patricia both with their hands up.
Can we bring them both in, please?
Absolutely, we can.
Thank you.
All right, ladies, could you press your unmute button? First, we'll say hi to Angela. Hi, Angela.
Yes, hello.
Hello,
Welcome.
Angela. Hello, and Patricia as well. Angela, could you tell me what you understand, please, of what I've said about that, the contact prior?
The hot country army, my father at the age of 25 died in Biafra war in military sort of circumstances.
Do you understand, though, where he was either a peacekeeper in that?
I wouldn't know such details as I was baby. It was
Okay,
a very long
okay.
time ago.
Thank you very much, Angela. Stay there. I'm just going to ask Patricia.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
Patricia, what do you understand, please?
Bill, my uncle was in a situation like this, but this was World War II, but he was in Greece.
Okay.
And he did grow up in Holland. And that is the one thing, I didn't think it was him, but when you mentioned Holland, I thought maybe it isn't a name. Maybe it was because he grew up in Holland.
Okay, let's just have a look then. Just hold there, Patricia. I'm going to go back to
Yeah.
Angela. I know it's like pass the baton, but we're going to work.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Then, Angela, can you just speak for me for a second? So
Yes,
get you back on screen. That's fine. Good.
Yeah.
With your father, because I didn't feel it was father, I
Yeah.
felt he was young, but we can make that mistake. Then would you understand where he received a medal for his bravery?
I wouldn't know. I knew he was a doctor, so I
He was a
presume.
doctor. Okay.
Yes, I
don't
presume he
feel-
could be. Yeah.
That's fine. Okay, I don't feel. I'm just going to go back to Patricia. Patricia,
Yeah.
do you understand about the medal?
Yes, but he was very young. He was only 19.
That's more like, because I just feel there's something about being so young. That's why I felt it was a son. That's fine. So I'm just going to work with Patricia, Angela, but just listen in the
Okay.
background.
Yes.
Okay. That's fine. So, and who did you feel it was?
My mother's brother.
Mother's
But
brother.
this
Your
was
uncle,
World
wasn't
War
it? Let's just have a-
II, I
Okay,
don't
that's
know.
fine. That's
Yeah.
fine. Then, with what you know about your uncle, would you understand where he was very selfless?
I really don't know, Phil. I
You don't
think
know. And you've never been told stories about him or anything?
a little bit, but he was
Okay.
so very young.
That's fine, because I know here, but I know there's a medal that's been received for bravery, and I know it's almost where it's just about peacekeeping. It just feels where this happened. Would you know where it happened and how it happened?
It was in Greece.
It was in Greece. That's fine.
Yeah, it was in Greece.
That's fine. I don't feel it's right, even with the two ladies
No,
coming forward. I
right.
don't feel it's
But
right.
thank you, Phil.
No, it's
Thank-
absolutely. Thank you for coming forward. I knew there was something that was being done,
Yeah.
but I know it's either going to be an email again, but it's not opening up. So I know I'm not with the right person. So, Sandra, I'm going to hand it back to you and say thank you very much for allowing me to again be part of the Sunday service. Again, Darren as well. Fantastic theme, and again, number 101. So I hope that we all can come together, let our light be seen, and make a difference in this world right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Phil. Actually, 101 thank yous. Yeah, thank you very much. And thank you to our friends in the spirit world. There might be only 3 of us delivering our Sunday gathering today. And don't think it's just the few people that had come through in the medium demonstration. All of our loved ones are there working together. so that these voices get heard, to let everybody know that our loved ones are alive and well. It's really easy to get caught up in grief. And I mean, humans have to go through it. I wish there was an easier way, but it's very, very difficult. But if you don't already, have a picture of your loved one looking healthy, well, young, assuming they died at a later age, but have them their best self, because they're healthy, they're well. My dad came through in a beautiful reading with a spirit artist, and how he looked when he was in the Air Force in his 20s, not how he passed in the 70s, but that was his favorite age. They're around. Keep talking to them, as I know you do. It's really easy to think you're just talking to yourself, but these demonstrations every week show that they're listening and they're right by our side. So some things going on that you might be interested in. Yes, you might be interested in. For those who are interested in healing, it's a very special thing, and it's very real, sending prayers and spiritual healing. Next Saturday, there's a 5-hour class with Carrie and Phil that's absolutely beautiful, about the whole world of spiritual healing. And you spend time doing different things and learning, and our world needs it right now. So do yourself a favor and learn as much as you can, because it's not hard. It just requires your intent, your sincerity, and your love. It really is. So that's next Saturday. Also, this week starts the new classes with Carrie and Phil. On Tuesday is The Way to Your Spirit. And it's just a beautiful journey for you, yourself, and your soul to have the best life possible. There's no breakout rooms. You don't have to talk to anybody, but it's a soul enriching class for you. And then Wednesday, we start our psychic class, and a lot of people are interested in mediumship, and well, it's a good thing to be interested in. And that happens on Thursdays. We do ask, though, if you're interested in joining our classes, that you start with our medium class. I mean, cancel that. Pretend I didn't say it. You start with our psychic class. And this past January and February, Carrie and Phil did a really good job creating the foundation of psychic, and then how to deliver a psychic reading. So we do ask that you purchase the replays. They're at a less cost, of our classes from January and February, before or while you're doing our live classes, just so you're caught up with the other students. And each month for the rest of the year, there's going to be different things that are explored to really enhance that power. And once you feel comfortable with your psychic nature, well, that's what mediumship is all about. But instead of working with somebody soul to soul, human to human, you're working human to somebody in the spirit world, using that same psychic muscle. So again, if you've taken our psychic classes and you're ready to move up into mediumship, make sure you watch those replays of January and February. Yeah, so those are all the basics. Also, what's going on next week, we start our class with Scott Milligan, Trance and the Altered States. It's a beautiful opportunity, as are all of our classes, to be able to quiet your mind and blend with this unseen world. But I'm in that class with Scott on Mondays, and yeah, we all have a team of inspirers by our side, and it's a nice way to really quiet the mind and slow down and to tap in. There's also a demonstration of trance mediumship on Fridays, along with Sitting for Healing with our friend Scott. We have just released our movie, our first movie, called Rinaldi, Instrumental Transcommunication with the Other Side. And Sonia is a beautiful woman who has reconnected mainly parents with their deceased children through voices and through images. And so anyways, that's pretty good, pretty great. And you can find out about these things and a lot more at our home base, which is wedon'tdie.com. You can click on the at-home weekly classes. You can listen to over 400 episodes of my podcasts about the afterlife and living life. You can join our Facebook group. There's over 6,000 of fantastic people. Introduce yourself, share where you are. We are really here to support you. So speaking of support, let's get through this coming week and the future, knowing that you are not alone, letting that light shine, as Phil just said. So here's just a couple of things. Again, we're talking about 101. If you want to really start pondering 101 things that make you happy, go for it. Get in those conversations with people. Once you engage other people talking about their favorite things, they're happy, you're happy. It's a boomerang. And it feels good. You can even talk about things that have made you laugh. And then you can all start laughing. Prayer, very valuable, even if you don't know how to do it. It's that sincere intent to serve. Take time to quiet your mind, to slow down. Music, I tell you what, I don't know how it works in the unseen world and how they use our energy, but anytime we can feel better, I know that it lets our light shine. Like I said earlier, our universe that we're at the center of, it helps others people's light shine, and it really does make a difference. And I know for me, playing some of the music from my 20s, my high school days, that's what does it for me. So even if you have a little music on behind the scenes, just for yourself, put a little bounce in your step, might take you down memory lane and put a smile on your face. So I think that's it for announcements. A big shout out to those of you who have donated to our Sunday gathering. Oh, you've helped us go on week after week. You've also helped support us during some very tough times. So a big shout out to you of thanks. So with that, before I turn it over to Phil for the closing prayer, just a shout out to my buddies, Darren, Scott behind the scenes, Phil, Carrie, I know you're there with your family, our friends in the unseen world, and just everybody that's here. Let your light shine. So over to you, Phil.
Thank you, Sandra. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time again to go into that space to join together in those thoughts that we call prayer. If you hold your thoughts, your loved ones dear, but also stay within this positivity that we've brought this evening to you today, and help yourselves send that healing thought to that war-torn country, to those that need it, that upliftment, that healing, that inspiration, that hope that's needed for another day. It is here where we join together, where we ask that great and infinite spirit to hear our thoughts, hear our prayers, and bring that love around those people, to inspire those people again around us to do their bit, to help out, to send that positivity, knowing that each thought and intention within us is heard by that universe and answered. It's here where we ask all those workers around the world to join as one, and those people listening right here and now, and to those watching the recording, to send that positivity around the world as something that is started, something that is created, and as energy can never be taken apart. Let it be used in a positive way to bring those thoughts, upliftment, that peace and goodwill to those that need. Let our light shine brightly. Let it shine brightly that the truth is heard, that again, fighting brings no use within this world. We want peace, so let it be heard, and let it be heard in this world. Amen.
Oh, thank you very much. And our friend Carrie and your beautiful wife had her hand raised. Carrie, hello.
Hello, what a beautiful service. Thank you very much, everybody, and all the best to everybody around the world. And thank you for joining us, everyone. I look forward to seeing you all being well next week.
Oh, thank you so much, Carrie. And Carrie's in charge, our chairperson for next Sunday. So who knows what she's cooking up for number 102. So we're going to move now to our closing song. It's called One Day. And again, beautiful young woman singing it for you. So here we go.